Today, we head into the ghost wilderness during the shortest and possibly coldest day of the year for an overnight adventure. While the trail was easy, the next 14 hours of darkness was not. With our lack of sunlight and an overextended heater, we face Old Man Winter head on. Will we make it to the other side, or will we pack it in early? Watch to find out. What is up, and welcome back to another adventure in our Subaru Forester. Today, we are going camping in the rooftop tent. Today is also the shortest day of the year, the winter equinox. So we don't have a lot of light, as you can probably tell. It's already getting dark. It's like at 3:30, but that's what we're dealing with. It's also going to be probably one of my coldest camping trips, but thankfully we now have a diesel heater for our rooftop tent that I built a while ago, so that should keep us nice and warm. And if not, we got nice warm layers and a whole bunch of blankets. But we're actually camping at somewhere where you guys might be familiar with. We're heading down into Wipers Creek area, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna head down that way, probably go along the trails, not for very long, and then get to our camp and hopefully set up our camp before it gets too dark. So as I said, we've been here before. This is where I did my second ever camping trip actually in this rooftop tent. And while it was cold, I don't think it's actually as cold as tonight's gonna be. We're getting one of those winter outflows or Arctic outflows, so it's gonna be real cold. It's gonna be just like the Arctic. But we're prepared for it. Usually there's a fair amount of people camping even here before we get onto the trail itself. There is no one today, so that's just a good way to tell how cold it really is. I know as we continue along, a lot of this trail could or could not be already maintained. Like right now, it is pretty much a road, which is nice. So we'll drive along here, and then I have it marked on my map of where we want to end up. So we're gonna cruise along here for a little bit and eventually end up at our campsite. So hopefully see you there. We continued to push forwards as the remaining daylight faded away. And just as the last little bit of sun ducked behind the clouds, we rounded the corner and pulled into our campsite. But only after clawing our way through the hard-packed snow, we could finally settle down and set up camp. And there we go, we have made it. As you can see, the Forester's a little frosty from those roads. Surprisingly, there wasn't that center mound of snow that there usually is, because I had no skid plates last time. It was a little sketchy. Now I have skid plates and I'm ready to go through it, and there wasn't any. Coming up and around is a little bit sketchy, as you saw. Kind of had to claw through, but those tires air down to, I believe, 12 psi. Perfect. This is actually exactly where I camped almost a year ago, maybe a little less, but yeah. Really nice camping spot. We're protected by the trees. The only place we're not is like straight down there, and that gives us a great view of the mountains, which right now you can't see. And that's because, well, it's a little bit cloudy, a little bit snowy, so hopefully in the morning we'll be able to fly the drone and check out that amazing view as the sun comes up in like 12 or 14 hours. I don't even know. I know that it is the winter equinox, so it's going to be a long, cold, cold around me, I'm gonna be nice and warm night. But next step is getting the tent set up. So as you guys know, I've set that up lots of times, so we'll get it set up and then we'll go ahead, have some food and start a fire, because a fire is gonna be very important tonight. Well, there we go, the tent is set up, and just like that, we have entered the darkness. So I got my gas lamp on. Obviously the diesel heater is not up, so I will have to go put that up there next. But usually we get a nice sunset on those mountains. Nothing, it just kind of disappeared, and now we're left in this very, very quiet and very cold mountains. And as you can see with my breath, it is a little cold out, but I'm gonna go ahead, start the fire next, and then get the diesel heater set up, and then we can go ahead and make some food. So there we go, we have it wired up. I just forgot to bring the USB for my light, so I'll have to do that later, but you'll see that before we say goodnight. But there's our battery pack. It's actually a 260 watt hour Go Sun pack, much smaller than the Jackery. And this is our first test. We actually can sell these through Flat 4 Off-Road. So if you guys are looking for a small compact battery pack, there it is. But essentially the diesel heater, as you guys saw, there's gonna be a build link up above, is essentially right there in the box. And it's just one of the car heaters with a tank, and then all my electronics run into the tube. This is our intake air, and then our hot air is coming out over there. But I'm gonna let this run for a bit and hop back outside, and then hopefully we'll have a nice warm tent by the end of the night. And if you're new here, this is a camp kitchen. It's essentially a drawer system with a Coleman on it, and then I can cook on here, prep on here, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat my classic camp kitchen favorite, ramen and sausage. And there we go, so dinner is all done, and it is starting to snow. Check this out, look on the car. There's a little bit of snow on there, so I don't know how much snow we'll get tonight. As I said, I'm pretty protected, and it didn't say any snow in the forecast, so I'm not really sure what's gonna happen. And also, I won't be staying up too late because, well, there's no point in staying up too late when this is all I can see. And one of my favorite things with camping in the winter is astrophotography, because it gets dark so early. We're not doing astrophotography today because it's snowing and there was clouds when we came in, and unless they blew off in the last couple hours, I don't think we'll have a clear sky. So I'll check obviously, but that's probably not going to be the plan.
Turning off the lights, we descended into almost complete darkness. Well, besides the fire that burned with the odd crackle here and there. We were the only ones for miles, which, while being a little intimidating, also created a strange sense of peacefulness. And with the snow continuing to fall, we enjoyed the fire as it slowly burned itself out before climbing into our warm tent.
Well, we're back in the tent, and check this out. I'm not wearing a shell and I'm not wearing snow pants. It is really warm in here. So outside, I checked it on my car. It says minus 25, and that was at 8. So I'm probably guessing minus 28 by the morning. So that is definitely cold out. That's definitely pushing the limits of my sleeping bag. As I said, I've got another blanket and I've done it before, so it wouldn't be too bad. It's just a little uncomfortable. You do wake up and go, oh, this is cold. But with what we are now, like, I can even take off my puffy jacket at this point. It is really nice in here. We actually got it set to my little controller right here. We got it set into automatic mode. So automatic mode essentially allows us to set a temperature and for it to maintain that. So I actually set it to 20 degrees because I know it's not gonna hit 20 degrees. It's just as soon, like even touching the walls here, it's definitely still cold. You're not gonna warm up this pocket of air with minus 28 on the other side to 20 degrees. There's still even frost on the outer edges on the far side, and that's just because, well, it's cold out. So I've just moved, like if I'm sleeping here, I'll give you guys a quick tour of my tent in a minute, but essentially you don't want to be sleeping up against the wall with your sleeping bag. I have a little buffer. Even with my wide angle lens, it's hard to see the whole tent, but essentially I have my sleeping area here on the left hand side, got the North Face Tundra bag. I'm actually warming up the inside because usually you don't want to do that, but because it's actually warm in here, I'm opening it up. So got that warmed up, and then as I said, big thick blanket to help prevent me from going up against the walls, just to provide a little more insulation. Got my snow stuff over on this corner. I'm keeping my cold stuff over on the corners to stay kind of cool and kind of provide some more insulation. Got my Garmin InReach up here just to actually get service, and then as I said, if we look up, we actually have my light strip. Super easy mod if you guys want to check out the video here to see how I did it. It's essentially just a light strip stuck on there, and then it runs down the line with a little inline controller so I can control it. And then down here I have a little power brick that would run it forever and keep it nice and warm. But other than that, I have all my batteries here. The outlet to the diesel heater with the heat is right there, so we're getting nice hot air. And then the controller is right here. Honestly, I should have put the controller on the other side so it's a little more airflow, but I'm not going to do that because it's cold out. So got that there. That's just showing my set temperature and my temperature inside. It says it's 14. It's probably 14 right there, but if we go over there, it's not 14. It's just the way the temperature is working in here. But I mean, if I set it actually on the just the pump speed, I overheat it because I don't have enough airflow, so I have to keep it on this automatic temperature mode. I'm not complaining, that still works great. And then as we move along here, we just have all my batteries. As you guys know, I'm a functional person, not a foreign person, so just make sure everything's functional and keeping everything stored. And then more of my bungees for closing the tent, and then more of my snow clothes on the straps drying. But that's my little home on top of my Subaru Forester. So if you guys have any questions about this setup or want to do something similar to this, let me know. As I said, I am a partner in Flat 4 Off-Road, so we help people build vehicles like this so they can get out there and enjoy and do exactly what we're doing. But as I said, diesel heater, I'm super impressed. It's keeping me nice and warm tonight, and I'll probably leave it run all night. This battery pack, as I said, the GoSun 260 watt hour battery pack, it hasn't even dropped the bar yet, and it's been running for 2 hours, so I'm impressed. But that is really going to be it for tonight. I'm going to go to sleep pretty soon. You can't do much. What is it? It is 9 right now, and we've been in the dark for a little while because, as I said, this is the shortest day of the year. Don't know why I wanted to do a video on the shortest day of the year, but we are camping in the shortest day of the year. So I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's really nice to get back outside and do a little camping, even if it's minus 30. So I'm gonna go to bed, and I will see you guys in the morning. So see you in a little bit.
And well, at 6 a.m., I was woken by the heater powering down due to low voltage, 10 hours after starting it. So I bundled up and rode the rest of the night out without heat.
But the plan of attack right now is to go ahead and start the Forester and then plug the diesel heater into the Forester because I have a long enough lead, and then fire up that diesel heater, get that going, and at the same time charge the battery pack a little so that we can heat up this tent a little bit before we pack it away and have a little bit of warmth. Well, the Forester started, barely, but we got the diesel heater running, and now it's only -1 in here. And actually, it's probably a little bit warmer even, but I've got all the camera gear here warming up because what I want to do next is go shoot some photos. As you guys saw, we did get a little bit of snow, so the tent's covered in snow, the car's covered in snow, and so forth. So I think it'd be nice to get a couple of little photos here and there of that. Well, the tent is warming everything up inside of it because everything, like look at this lens, is super frosty. Ooh, it's cold to touch. You get a frostbite just by touching the metal. But thankfully, with this heater running, we're actually like looking at the roof. It's already defrosted pretty much. The vent's defrosted and so forth. And as I said, we're not getting any sunrise. It is, as you saw, kind of not foggy, but it's kind of just overcast and snowy. So gonna sit in here for a little bit, get my camera ready to go, and then go shoot some photos before we have some breakfast. And almost at 10 o'clock, we have officially received some sun, and also brought these beautiful blue skies. Check this out. We can actually see these beautiful mountains back. This is why actually the reason I camp here all the time is the mountains behind us. It's such a nice view. And then we can actually see there is a river or creek right here, completely frozen over. It's that cold, and it's been that cold that the creek is actually just like solid. You can't even see that there's a creek there. So you can tell it's been cold for a very long time. And as I said, we did get some snow, so the Forester actually has a little bit of snow on it, so I'm gonna have to sweep that off when I fold in the tent. But before that, I want you guys to take a look at this beautiful campsite. So when we got here, we didn't really get a chance to explore because, well, it was the winter equinox. And if you're wondering how cold it really is, well, my car says -26, but I haven't seen it much lower than that ever, so I'm guessing that's kind of where it tops out at. The weather said -28 when I checked yesterday, and that's what I'm guessing it's about, because I've never seen this well, I've seen this before. I have solid orange juice, so I can't drink orange juice, and my dish soap is frozen. I can't wash dishes. I have to like scrape it out and put it in the water, which I mean works, but I've never seen solid dish soap. Even when we camped here last year, about this time, where it was the coldest time I've camped before, it was never this cold because my dish soap was still a liquid then. So it's got to be at least -28. But anyways, I'm just finishing up dinner, boiling some snow for some water so I can unwash some dishes and then fill up my bottle. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead, we're gonna pack up the tent. I got the tent running, as I said it was running, just so everything warms up so it actually can like collapse, because I know with everything cold it probably wouldn't collapse very well, and same with the actual tent itself. So once those are warmed up, we can go ahead, start collapsing everything, and then pretty much that's about it. We'll maybe do a little exploration down. I did see some open water down there, so maybe see if we can find any of the river, and then we got to get the Forester out of here, because as you guys saw, getting in here, I was spinning a little bit, and honestly I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. And with breakfast all done, we should have the tent packed up like that. There we go. So we got the tent back in its packaging. The only issue was, well, the only issue is it's way too cold, so it had some issues with regards to zipping up and folding up, just because the fabric and all the canvas is like really crunchy and stiff right now, but we got it all up in there. So now it's time to back the Forester out through here and hit the road.
Pointing the Forester back the way we came less than 24 hours ago, we hit the trail. Now being able to see our surroundings, we could take our time and enjoy the ride through the frozen forest.
And while we're making our way back, there's one thing I want to bring up. I know there's going to be a few people that think I was absolutely crazy for what I was doing, coming out here when I knew it was going to be right around -30. Well, I can understand where you guys are coming from, but my perspective and my thought is I'm prepared. I was expected to have no diesel heater. I was ready for that, and the diesel heater was just a bonus. So even if everything failed to keep me warm, I would still be able to keep warm. I had backups for backups. As you guys saw, I had multiple layers. I had a spare battery for my car. I had everything in case anything went wrong. Thankfully, we didn't have to use a lot of that, so that was always a good thing. But as I said, just like, preparedness is always a key in these adventures, where if something goes wrong, it could mean life or death. And with that being said, I do want to urge a strong warning to people that if they want to go try this, make sure you're prepared, make sure you're ready. I have a fair amount of experience, as I said, and I even have a fair amount of experience doing bushcraft, so I do have experience that can help me through this if something does go wrong. But please, 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 if you are looking to do this and you don't have a lot of experience, make sure you get prepared, make sure you get knowledgeable, and maybe don't do it when it's -30. I was definitely trying to push the limits and see what I was capable of, but still do it in a safe manner. Well, there we go. We're back at the trailhead where this all started almost 24 hours ago. So I hope you guys enjoyed this pretty epic adventure into the Ghost Wilderness area and camping during the winter solstice. It was definitely an interesting experience for me. Definitely, I know I'm super prepared, and I'm glad that I'm prepared, because if you weren't, that could have turned pretty badly. Really happy how the diesel heater turned out. I just need to make sure I have enough battery if I'm running it on high for over 8 hours. So kind of me asking a little bit more than I should have asked for, but still, awesome experience. The Forester, as usual, did great. The tent did great, and it was just a lot of fun. So if you guys enjoyed this, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because I got lots more of this coming. We're never stopping going on these adventures. And if you want to build a Forester like me, or a Subaru, or even an off-road rig, you guys know where to find me and Austin at Flat4 Off-Road. But that's going to be it for today, so I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, peace out and stay humble.